Levi Simon coming to you from Three Dragon Sports Bar in Hoi An with a long promised and finally delivered little early season wrap up for the NRL. We'll talk a bit about the first couple of rounds, first 6 rounds of the comp, how our teams are doing. We'll just kind of go from the top, go through the ladder, talk a bit about every team, what we maybe got wrong or what we didn't expect, a couple of storylines, and we'll go from there. Just having a beer, having a bit of a chat, and hopefully you like it.
Okay. All right, so we'll start on top. Start with your team, the Doggies. So you're wearing blue today. I don't know if that was any coincidence or not, but Dogs. I had the bye over the weekend, so hopefully they're going to come out fresh and this week. But yeah, they've been doing well.
Oh, it's going to be a massive game against the Bunnies. Good Friday. Wow, huge crowd at Acor expected.
Bunnies lost last week, but they have been playing pretty well. They've been one of the teams that I think have actually performed better than I thought they would.
But the Bulldogs, against my preseason doubt, proving me that they're developing and they're a threat. They're going to be a problem for teams. The way they defend, the way they fight, the way they've done it with a lot of injuries.
Without Burton, hasn't been there a lot, and so without Burton there, it's quite surprising. I think that they've been able to get together and
next man up mentality. Bailey Hayward did a job. He looked alright. He just got a contract extension as well. Looked alright. Very pleased with the performance so far.
Dogs. Looking like they might try and steal Galvin as well. Sneaking suspicion that he could be heading that way.
I think he's going Eels.
We'll see. We'll see. It's
we got Mitchell Woods coming through, and he's the long-term 7.
We'll see.
Supposedly he's the long-term 7, so we'll see.
All right, so move quickly down the ladder there onto the Storm. Storm of
doing Storm things.
Well, I mean, their spine is back with Jerome Hughes got a bit of a hand, but their spine, Papa's fit and firing. Munster's the best, like the fittest he's been. Grant hasn't got a sternum problem, so he's their spine is deadly and.
They're the team to beat easily.
Yeah, I think with. And they've got depth in their team as well. They've got guys that can come in, and they've got they're I mean.
And I think Xavier Coates is underrated. The performance he's been putting in, he's off the charts. He's so good. I think the Storm
throughout the season, I'd expect the Bulldogs maybe to drop off at some stage, but but the Storm, I think, are going to just keep on.
Storm for me definitely. Kind of preseason predicted and kind of confirmed in the first few early rounds. They're the team to beat this year, I think.
Yeah. Right, so third place. Oh, my team doing all right. Broncos lost over the weekend. It's kind of like we can get out, with energy. If a team comes hard, has quick line speed. It can really, shut down our forward pack, and there is a bit of a blueprint there. The Raiders and the Roosters both got it done that way, but the Broncos are a good team. They'll bounce back. I did tip the Wars to beat the Broncos on the weekend.
So did I.
But I think Fisher Harris might be out. I think he's out. So I'm going to switch back to my team. I think the Broncos. I'm always worried when the Broncos play the Wars. That's always a tough one for us. They play a style
in New Zealand as well.
It is in New Zealand, but I think both coming off pretty bad losses. I mean, the Wars loss was. Oh, sorry, the Wars
loss was ugly, but
against the Storm.
I think for me the Broncos they're a weird team. They should be top 4.
They are.
But end of the year they should be top 4. End of the year. The thing is, at their best, they look insane. When they're ticking, they look absolutely insane. The amount of talent and if everybody's clicking, they're so good.
Yeah.
And then you have games against the Roosters, the Raiders, even some of their wins where
Ben Hunt was missing a bit. Walshy's still sort of a bit gun shy. I think he's still trying to find that balance between flat out and you know, being a bit hesitant. And
but some of it is also defensively, like just some soft tries, some really soft tries defensively.
Actually, I'm gonna say not in that. Like the 2 games that we've lost, and it was 6 agains, man. It was like repeat set, repeat set, repeat set. Like it was absolutely dominated. Our forward packs were dominated in the first 20 minutes of both games, and it was the repeat sets and pressure that finally gives in. You know, so it's the same thing on both of them. Like if we get repeat set after repeat set, like anyone these days, if it's that amount of 6 agains, then
but it's weird though. Like your forward pack on paper is stacked.
So that's what I said. You know, teams will be up for it, but can teams back that up? You saw after the Raiders' performance against the Broncos, they fell away for the next 3 weeks. They couldn't get up. You know, and throughout the season, we're going to see teams that bring that energy and
drop off a bit.
But that's in the last few years, it's you know, proven that it's impossible to sustain that, you know, throughout the year. So
I mean, talking of the Raiders, they're sitting pretty in 4th and looking pretty damn good.
Pretty good. Again, like when they're bringing the energy, you know, like Horsburgh at you know 13 in the starting pack, Tarpany, Pappers, you know, like their forward pack and their second rowers, you know,
and I mean
they're beasts. They're beasts.
I mean their back 5 is lethal.
So, but you know, they're one of those teams again that if they bring the energy, they can beat just about anyone. But they find it hard to sustain that.
I think they've got something going down there. I think Ricky's got something going down there. Like they've got a lot of talent, but a couple of good old players in the mix, and a lot of young talent coming through. I wouldn't be surprised if they probably not top 4, but I reckon they should be in the 8. I think if they can kind of find a bit of consistency.
Yeah, I think they're looking like a you know, a top 8 team. So they're doing well.
And then
moving down.
Yeah, we got the Bunnies, which
they
beginning of the year I kind of wrote them off because amount of injuries and just I don't know. Like
I haven't rated their forward pack really. Like they've thrown some people together, but you know, Bennett's got everyone fit. You know, and so the team's looking fit.
I mean, it's Bennett. Hats off. Like I think it's for them. I mean, if they make the 8, respect. Like that's Bennett.
Yeah, definitely. I thought, you know, after the last year at the Dolphins, he didn't really, you know, like fell away a bit in his coaching, I think. But he's come back with a point. And
I mean, Trell looks fit, and if Trell's fit, he's still one of the best players in the game, and been playing in the centres, and then last game at 5'8", and been good. Like he's been good. I prefer him in those positions over fullback, and I think Chai Gray's killing it at fullback. So hopefully they keep it that way.
All right. And we're going to go down the Wars. So the Wars are you didn't rank the Wars this year, did you? You had them all the way down the bottom, almost. Didn't you?
Yeah, that might still happen. Like I haven't really seen many performances where I was excited about the Wars. Like,
I had them sneaking into the 8, so you know I'm happy with where they're sitting. Look, they're a team that you know, like they've got a good forward pack. Fish Harris has starting to deliver, even though he's out on the weekend, I think.
They're looking all right. They're looking okay. They're definitely looking like in the first bit they looked. There we go, little Aussie Lock burger.
Yeah, Aussie Lock. Thank you very much. Spin that around. Our new French fries, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Wars, like I don't know, I'm still not really sold on the Wars. I think they still might drop off. Unlikely to get the wooden spoon. I think there's enough other teams.
They've got some depth there. You know, Tamari Martin's not even getting a run at the moment. So
yeah, I'll be interested.
Yeah. They're a team that when they're on, and I think that they're definitely. I think that they can scrape into the 8. I think they're good enough to scrape into the 8.
Maybe.
And then the other team, Tigers, we all thought that they're going to be on the way up, but they're sort of like 3-3.
They're looking alright.
respectable,
Like, even in their losses, they
they're
haven't
looking
been
good.
blown. They haven't been blown out at
Yeah.
all.
I think Broncos got on top of them.
Yeah, but they haven't really been blown out. They've been pretty close in most games. And I think Luai's just a gun. Like, Luai is an absolute gun.
Yeah, and once and he hasn't been playing that well.
No.
In saying that, you know, like just
No.
because a new team and I think a lot of players don't know how he plays,
Yeah.
so they don't like they're running different lines, and but
Yeah.
the longer he's there, the more
Yeah.
the team will gel around him, and
And I've also seen, like, on the back of
their forward pack is pretty good as well.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, Terrell May's killing it.
yeah.
But yeah, I've seen on the back of the Lachlan Galvin news that he's leaving end of his contract. I've seen a bunch of guys calling for him to be dropped to New South Wales Cup, and they've got a young kid coming through that they've got big raps on.
Yep.
What's his name?
Finu,
Tuva, something like that. Like, so they're really big on this kid. So one of those, and Galvin hasn't been playing great.
It's so disappointing. You know, it's a lot of it's
money.
You know, well, no, well they're saying it's not money because you know Tigers have offered a lot. You know, that's a significant contract. They're saying that he doesn't get along well, hasn't gelled yet with Benji, and you know it seems like Luai's the favourite son there. You know now.
Well, he should be. I mean, he's a superstar.
He's a guy
the guy's a kid.
You know exactly. You know, like Galvin's been offered $5 million over 5 years as a 19-year-old. Oh, you know.
Yeah.
That's
well, that's one of those. But that's part of the reason.
There's the stuff behind the scenes. You know, it's the managers. You know,
a whole lot of it.
I think that's the big story out of it. It's
but
Benji.
I mean,
Benji, you know, doesn't get along with Galvin's manager, and
yeah,
Gal's manager has had a history of breaking the Tigers down, and there's some stuff going on behind the scenes there, and
I mean, decent start for them to the year, and hopefully they can keep it up despite off-field distractions, and keep up the work, and they'll be there and about, probably just shy of the 8, I would say, but there's definitely talent there.
All right, I'm going to attempt to eat this Aussie burger without it making too much of a mess while we keep on talking. So moving on to number 8, the Sea Eagles. I'm going to send that across to you and see how we go.
Yeah, no, they're a bit of a, I don't know, Manly are a bit of a mixed bag.
Aussie lot there.
They're a bit of a mixed bag. There's a bit of, I don't know, like on paper, great team, performance-wise, yeah, so. And
the burger's not so. Sea Eagles, maybe.
Yeah, I reckon Manly, like, again, like, DCE distractions. He's been playing well, but Turbo injured yet again. And, like, yeah, I don't know. It's just not exciting. Like, you watch them play and just go, eh.
Yeah, they're playing at home this weekend, rookie, so they always do pretty well at Brookvale.
But yeah, they don't feel like a team that can win the comp. They feel like a team that can make the 8, but I don't think anybody's really worried about them too much. Like,
I mean, with their best, I think Saab's back this weekend. With their best team out there, if Turbo was there at the right time of year and they're in the 8, they can go places.
Yeah.
So like they just need to get in the 8, get Turbo fit, and see what they can do from there.
That's a lot of ifs and whens.
Yeah. And there's a few good teams behind that are pushing into that.
Yeah, we're getting to a few. We're getting to the bottom half of the table, and a couple of teams who probably
Aussie lot, pickled beetroot. We pickle it ourselves here. Oh, delicious!
Excellent. Yeah, I'm actually jealous, but I'll have a sip of beer. But yeah, I reckon there's a few teams down that half of the ladder that probably would have liked to start a bit better to the year. Sharks,
one of them.
Sharks definitely one of them. I thought they should be like competing for top 4, and
I think I might have even had them at
number top of the ladder. And I think so far they've been pretty disappointing in their performances. Like
last year their forward pack was rolling over people, and their interchanges.
I mean, if you watched, I think the Bulldogs game was the perfect example. And I mean, that was part of that was the Bulldogs playing really well. But part of that is the Sharks. As soon as we put a bit of pressure on them, they just kind of folded. They had no answer. They were just one-dimensional.
They're known for having great backs, you know, they can run it back in hard, and they haven't brought the aggression this year.
Nah.
The previous season, last season, they brought a lot of aggression.
I mean, they've got Fanua Blake there, who's a beast, but
he's playing all right, but it just hasn't, you know,
I think they look soft.
You know who they've lost that has, I think, you know, it says a lot, is Hunt.
Royce Hunt, yeah.
You know, like man, what he could bring in, you know, when you had him and Talakai coming off the bench, like holy shit, you know, that was scary for teams, and Hunt was definitely underrated, and you know, like I think that
he's playing well for Tigers.
You know, it just brings that little X factor, and
I don't know. I think the Sharks. I mean, they'll
make the 8.
I mean, they've got too much talent there not to make the 8, but the way they're playing at the moment, like they're playing soft, and they're playing kind of timid. And I mean, you'll hear all the Nico criticism yet again. That will just not go away. And it's definitely for a guy who's getting paid $1 million a year, probably not quite performing as good as he should.
Yeah, but it's a bit of a shame. Look,
yeah, I mean, it's hard if the pack's not going forward, and you're kind of stuck in the back.
I think Nico, like Walshy, you know, they get a little bit too much attention. You know, there's not many other players like that can have a bad week. Like Ponga's been pretty average for the last couple of weeks, right?
He was great the first few weeks,
but in the last 2 weeks, he hasn't done much. And is it who's talking about that? You know, like as soon as Walshy has a bad game or has a couple of mistakes, or Nico doesn't, you know, win a game for them, they just get so much pressure, and the media is so onto them so quickly. They're two of the most sort of like, you know, talked about players when they have an average game. Yeah, you know, there's so many other players that will have an average game,
but it's a bit of those.
It's zero media.
I mean, they're both like high profile,
high paid.
But kind of good-looking cats, like kind of bit of.
They draw a lot of criticism, and I think, you know, personally, I think just leave the boys alone and let them play. You know, like they'll get it together. They'll make the 8.
They should do. After that, we got the Dragons, which I think I was reasonably high on the Dragons coming into the year, and even though they're 2-3 at the moment after a couple of okay performance, I'm still pretty high on them. I think there's something there. I think they got some good young talent coming through, and they're veterans. I mean, Gutho has been killing it. Like, he's been playing off the charts.
I mean,
him and Teddy are probably the 2 best fullbacks in the comp at the moment. Like,
well, they're saying that Gutho is the best. You know,
like stats wise and everything.
Stats wise, like he's come out and he's like the most dominant.
Yeah, but
he's pretty much the most dominant player in NRL at the moment.
Oh yeah,
as far as stats wise goes. So
no, he's impressive, and I mean their pack is still impressive. They got the money. They get the good old money man, who's killing it. Apart from a bit of controversy, but like I mean they got outclassed by the Bulldogs. Lost to the Bunnies, where in a game that shouldn't have lost. Lost to the Eels somehow.
Yeah.
Again, in a game that probably shouldn't have lost. Like they're basically doing what they do every year. They're really inconsistent, but I think they got something there, and I think they're a sneaky chance to make the 8. I think they're there and about. Like they'll be in that kind of 6 to.
They're doing a little bit better than what I thought with just with their halves. So if their halves can, and you know, I think that's where a lot of their team lies. They got some great players around them. They got great fullback. They got some good players in the forwards. If they're 6 and 7 can have a good day, then they can beat a lot of teams.
Yeah, I reckon we've got to speed it up a bit. We're getting a bit long.
Down the Titans. Titans, Knights, Cows.
Yeah, I mean Titans and Knights you can kind of throw in the same bucket. Like disappointing.
Yeah, they've had a bit of a mix-up season just with the players coming in and out. Titans, if they've got their best players on the park, they can make the 8 as well. Knights, disappointing.
Yeah.
Have the occasional good game, but I think they get too far in front of themselves sometimes.
Yeah,
they don't do the hard work.
Nah, and it's basically they're Ponga or nothing. If Ponga doesn't have a killer game, then they've got nothing. Like Best is okay, but if they can't get the ball to him, I don't rate the Knights. I think they'll drop. Cowboys, rough start to the season, but I reckon they're coming all right. They're coming all right. None being dropped and then responding the way he's responded. Like he's been on fire. I reckon
they'll push you out.
Yep.
They'll push you out.
They'll be there.
They'll be one of those teams from like 6 to 10.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah,
you know,
and especially having to go up there and play them in Townsville now that they kind of got their shit together.
Yeah.
Not an easy trip.
Yeah.
I reckon Cowboys, they'll be there and about.
Finns.
Yeah,
probably not. On their day, pretty good. Up in Queensland, it's going to be tough to beat at times.
A bit flaky.
I think they'll start to move up potentially up the ladder a bit, but
yeah, I reckon.
They're not making the 8. I don't think the Finns making the 8 this year. Roosters,
they might make the 8.
Well,
potentially.
Had a good win on the weekend.
I mean, Teddy's been on fire. Like Teddy's been playing really well. I think since Teddy doesn't have to worry about Origin anymore, he's been outstanding.
A lot of their losses were super close, and they could have won any of those games. So I think on the ladder, they're the one team that are sitting lower than how well they've been playing.
I think so. Yeah, I think they might go on a bit of a run. They've got a couple of good young kids coming through, and they've still got a lot of quality players there. So I don't know, like
they'll be pushing the 8.
Oh, should do. Yeah.
You know, like they've had an average start, but they're on 4 points.
Yeah.
You're only at 6 points, so they're only one game behind. One game off the 8.
Yeah.
So six rounds in, they're only one game.
Yeah.
One game.
Yeah. I mean,
for and against maybe 2 games.
But that's the one. It's early days. A lot of games you have to play. Early days for Penrith, but probably game over for Penrith. I think.
I don't have them winning on the weekend either.
No, I can't see it. Like at the moment,
Cleary, is not 100%. Edwards is.
He's been injured.
He's
been injured. I think you can see it's a combination of a lot of guys leaving over the years, and then the guys who've been there the whole time, just showing all the wear and tear, because it takes it out of you playing at that level for so long and dominating for so long. It just takes it out of your body, and you can see Cleary's banged up, and he's always banged up. Edwards is banged up. Toll is banged up. All the guys who've been there, done it. And
look, if they can go on a run and scrape into the 8, are you going to bet against them?
Probably still yes. Too many young kids, and too many issues defensively with all the system. There's too many guys in there who don't understand the system, and you can see it. It's such a hard system. It's basically the Serraldo system that he left behind when he left, and it's such a hard system that relies on really high fitness and everybody working for each other and everybody knowing their assignments. It's such a hard system to actually perfect, and I think that's kind of what you see. That's the opposite for like the Bulldogs at the top. You can see you've got guys who've been in that system.
Finally, it's happened.
Yeah,
unless you're a Panthers fan, I'm sorry, but I think all of us have been waiting for this. Can't win again. Come on, just someone else.
I mean, I didn't expect them to fall off that quickly.
We still had them. I think I had them at 4.
Yeah, I still had them. I still had them in the top 4. But I think they're going to fall off for a year or 2, and I think they'll be back in the mix just because their system is still there. Their pathways and the young kids are there.
Cleary might not be there.
Well, yeah.
If there's no Cleary, if he goes to UK, for a year, which could happen.
Yeah, maybe
soon.
Maybe.
Anyway,
it'll be interesting, but
down to the Eels.
Yeah.
They got to win a couple of weeks ago.
Got to win, but I reckon they got the spoon booked.
Yeah, I think they got an absolute mortgage on that spoon at the moment. Even though they're on there with the Panthers, but I can't see many signs for them at all.
Well, there you have our little early season wrap for the league.
I managed to get through the Aussie burger without a drip, no beetroot or egg juice on me at all. So, success.
Excellent. That's just us having a bit of a chat. And if you want to see more of that, let us know down in the comments below. We'll try and do a little wrap maybe every 5 rounds or so.
Yep.
Otherwise, we'll do our little short, quick, and easy tipping videos. Talking of tipping, we're pretty much head-to-head.
I've been just managed to slip into top position.
Yep.
6 rounds in.
I
So
think I'm one game behind. I'm one behind you. So, yeah. Check out the tipping videos for the week. They're on the channel.
It's all very close, though. Tipping comp is super close. There's only, I think there's 3 of us on the same points.
Yep.
And then it's stuck just behind that one game behind.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, a lot of smart people in the tipping comp.
There you go.
And if you're in Hoi
not
An,
necessarily one of them, but
and if you're in Hoi An, just drop in the pub, say hello. Good chance I'll be here. Simon might not be, but
I'm around though.
He's around.
Cool.
See you
Good luck.
soon.